Surah Almaa'eida. Introduction. Name. This Surah takes its name from verse 112, in which the word май'da occurs. Like the names of many other surahs, this name has no special relation to the subject of the surah, but has been used merely as a symbol to distinguish it from other surahs. Period of revelation. The theme of this surah indicates, and traditions support it, that it was revealed after the Treaty of Hudaybiyah at the end of 6 H, or in the beginning of 7 H. That is why it deals with those problems that arose from this treaty. The Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam with 1,400 Muslims went to Mecca in Zilь-Ka'ada 6H to perform Umrah, but the Quraysh, spurred by their enmity, prevented him from its performance, though it was utterly against all the ancient religious traditions of Arabia. After a good deal of hard and harsh negotiations, a treaty was concluded at Hudaybiyah, according to which it was agreed that he could perform Umrah the following year. That was a very appropriate occasion for teaching the Muslims the right way of performing a pilgrimage to Mecca with the true Islamic dignity, and enjoining that they should not prevent the disbelievers from performing pilgrimage to Mecca as a retaliation for their misbehavior. This was not difficult at all, as many disbelievers had to pass through Muslim territory on their way to Mecca. This is why the introductory verses deal with the things connected with pilgrimage to Mecca, and the same theme has been resumed in verses 101 to 104. The other topics of this surah also appear to belong to the same period. The continuity of the subject shows that most probably the whole of the surah was revealed as a single discourse at one and the same time. It is also possible that some of its verses were revealed at a later period and inserted in this surah at different places where they fitted in. Occasion of revelation. This surah was revealed to suit the requirements of the change conditions, which were now different from those prevailing at the time of the revelation of Surah Al-Imran and Surah An-Nisa. Then the shock of the setback at Uhud had made the very surroundings of Al-Madinah dangerous for the Muslims, but now Islam had become an invulnerable power, and the Islamic State had extended tonight on the east to the Red Sea, on the west to Syria on the north, and to Mecca on the south. This setback which the Muslims had suffered at Uhud had not broken their determination. It had rather spurred them to action. As a result of their continuous struggle and unparalleled sacrifices, the power of the surrounding clans within a radius of 200 miles or so had been broken. The Jewish menace, which was always threatening Al-Madinah, had been totally removed, and the Jews in the other parts of Hijaz had become tributaries of the state of Al-Madinah. The last effort of the Quraysh to suppress Islam had been thwarted in the Battle of the Ditch. After this, it had become quite obvious to the Arabs that no power could suppress the Islamic movement. Now Islam was not merely a creed which ruled over the minds and hearts of the people, but had also become a state which dominated over every aspect of the life of the people who lived within its boundaries. This had enabled the Muslims to live their lives without let or hindrance, in accordance with their beliefs. Another development had also taken place during this period. The Muslim civilization had developed in accordance with the principles of Islam and the Islamic viewpoint. This civilization was quite distinct from all other civilizations in all its details and distinguished the Muslims clearly from the non-Muslims in their moral, social, and cultural behavior. Mosques had been built in all territories. Prayer had been established, an imam leader for every habitation and clan had been appointed. The Islamic civil and criminal laws had been formulated in detail and were being enforced through the Islamic courts. New and reformed ways of trade and commerce had taken the place of the old ones. The Islamic laws of marriage and divorce, of the segregation of the sexes, of the punishment for adultery and calumny, and the like had cast the social life of the Muslims in a special mold. Their social behavior, their conversation, their dress, their very mode of living, their culture, etc., had taken a definite shape of its own as a result of all these changes. The non-Muslims could not expect that the Muslims would ever return to their former fold before the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. The Muslims were so engaged in their struggle with the non-Muslim Quraysh that they got no time to propagate their message. This hindrance was removed by what was apparently a defeat, but in reality a victory at Hudaybiyah. This gave the Muslims not only peace in their own territory, but also respite to spread their message in the surrounding territories. Accordingly, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam addressed letters to the rulers of Iran, Egypt, and the Roman Empire, and the chiefs of Arabia, inviting them to Islam. At the same time, the missionaries of Islam spread among the clans and tribes and invited them to accept the divine way of Allah. These were the circumstances at the time when Almaa'eida was revealed. Please watch the rest of the surah in the next episode. Stay connected. Like, share, subscribe, and press bell button.